Alright, so what is up guys? In this video I'm going to be covering LiveData and ViewModels and how to use them in Android Studio, and this is going to be a very simplified tutorial so you can get your head around it and can get started immediately with using it. So as you can see here, we have a demo increment app. So every time we click on +1 you'll see +1, and if it is an odd number it will say false, and if it is an even number it will say true. So let's just continue clicking on that. And usually when you create some sort of app, you have to handle the data. You need to put it in a saved state, and most of the time when you turn the phone, it will destroy the data and recreate it, because it's all part of the life cycles. And if you don't know what life cycles are, I definitely recommend you read up on that somewhere on Google. Otherwise, I will make a video very soon about life cycles, using the lifecycle aware components that have been provided by the Google architecture. But continuing on with this tutorial, as you can see, each time we turn it around, it remains on false and remains on 5, and as soon as we click on +1, it continues exactly where we left off. So that's going to be the demo app that I'm going to be showing you how to create, and we can get started immediately by going to our Android Studio project. And the first thing we want to do is go to our Gradle scripts and click on build.gradle. And inside here, where it says dependencies, we have to add 2 dependencies. And one's going to be for the view model and one's going to be for the live data. And we definitely have to also add this definition so it knows exactly which version to insert. And of course, I will leave all of this in the description below, so all you have to do is copy and paste that in your own project. But as soon as you've done that, we can go ahead and click on Sync Now. And as soon as we have successfully synced our project, we can go ahead and close this window, close our Gradle scripts, and open our res folder, so we can open our layout folder, and finally go to our activity main XML. Then inside here we are going to go to split view so we can see what we're doing, and I'm just going to paste in the exact same layout from my previous project. So the first thing I did is add a relative layout, just to keep things simple since it's a very simple layout, and then I added a text view for our increment number. So essentially all it says is that it has an ID of TV_text view with the text set to 0 and a text size of 40 SP. Then immediately below that I have the text view that takes care of the boolean. So I provided it with a layout above attribute, which put it right above the increments text view, and I gave it an ID of TV_boolean text. Then I gave it a text of 3 dots, and I set the text size to 20 SP. And finally we have a button that will make everything do what we want it to do, so we called it button_button, and it is set right below the TV_text view, so right below the increment number, and I gave it a margin of 10 dp with a background color of black and a text of +1 with a text color of color white, so it's kind of like an inverted button. And anyways, that's all we have to do in our activity main XML. Then we can go ahead and create a ViewModel class. So to do this, we will go to our package name, and inside here we will create a new Kotlin file class and call this test ViewModel. So what is a ViewModel? A ViewModel is a class that is designed to store and manage UI related data in a lifecycle conscious way. But with that being said, let's continue. So we will type in variable number, and that will equal 0, and then we have to create some live data. And live data is what we are going to use to actually notify the program that something has changed, and it will update it automatically for us, so we don't have to worry about forgotten updated views and keeping things up to date. So to do this, we're going to type in first a new value, and we're going to call this current number. And right before we continue, I forgot to extend our ViewModel class, so we have to type in extends ViewModel. And once we've done that, we can actually continue with this. So current number of type mutable live data, and this one's going to be of type int, and we're going to use a lazy initializer. Then inside here we need to type in mutable live data of type int, and that will take care of that. So every time we refer to this, it will create a mutable live data object, and that will be used to store our number and to update it. And then let's also copy that for the boolean, except here we are going to type in current boolean, and it's going to be of type boolean, and this also should be updated to type boolean. So after we have finished our ViewModel, we can go ahead and go to our main activity class and get started by instantiating our ViewModel. So the first thing we have to do is create a late init variable of type ViewModel, which will take our test ViewModel, and we will instantiate it right below. So the first thing we have to do is refer to our ViewModel, and that's going to equal a ViewModel provider, which will take the context of our main activity, which is this, and then we need to get the view model that we want to use. So we'll type in test view model, and that's going to be class.java. Then let's go down and create a function that increments our text. So we can do private function increment text, and inside here we will add our button and set an on-click listener, and then we can refer to our view model, and we need to get the current number that we want to increment, which was this one over here, and we need to set the value to it. And then with that we can do ++ view model.number, and incrementing this will indeed increment this number over here, which will live with our view model. So when we turn the screen, it will stay there and it will stay at the current number. And for the boolean, we'll do something that's very similar. We'll type in viewModel.currentBoolean, and we will set the value to viewModel.number. And if that is divisible by 2, then we will set that to true, and it will be an even number. Otherwise, it will be set to false, and that will be an odd number. So essentially what I did is create a button that switches between true and false each other click and increments the number while it does it. So that's all that's happening in this private function over here. Now there's only one last thing we have to do, is create an observer that actually observes when this value gets set, so it updates our text view for us, and we don't have to worry about calling setText every single time in our button. So down here we can type in viewModel.currentNumber, and then we should type in observe, and it's going to take an owner, and we need to provide an observer. And this observer is going to provide us with the it keyword, which provides us with the currently updated value, the one that is up to date. And with that, we can just type in our TV_text view and write setText, and we're going to take it to string. So it will just take the latest number that has been updated and put it in our text view. Then we can just copy and paste that, and we're going to write viewModel.currentBoolean, and as you can see, it's going to create another observer which provides us with the latest updated information for the boolean as well, and we can also refer to that by typing it to string. But this time we are going to replace the text view with the TV_boolean text. So one more time, we created a button which updated the value of the current number, which is a LiveData object. And then up here we created an observer that took care to actually update the text view every time this value has been changed. And as you can see in our test view model, all the values are being used, and it keeps the architecture of our app quite clean. Alright, and I absolutely forgot to call our increment text button, so definitely make sure to actually add this on your onCreate method, and then we can click on play again. Perfect, so it has loaded. Let's try it out. So let's click on +1, and as you can see, the number has been loaded, and if we rotate the screen, it is still at 1, and it is still a false boolean. And if we click plus again, it will continuously increment the text. So let's flip it one more time, and then continuously click on it. So this definitely takes care of all the UI related updating that we had to do for this app. And you really shouldn't confuse this with saving the data, because as soon as you close this app will get rid of all the data that was not saved. And since we didn't really assign this app any kind of shared preference or room database, it will just delete everything and start it afresh as soon as we restart the app. But with that being said, those were the very basics of using the view model and the LiveData components from the Google architecture. And in the next video, I will be discussing how to use the lifecycle components. And after that, we should be able to actually create an app using all of this information and using the room database. So there's a lot of stuff to learn, and I'll be working on that in the next few days. But with that being said, I will see you guys in the next video.